Hey everyone, today we're counting down our picks for the best taxi games that you should check out, and without further ado, let's dive right in.
How's it going?
London Taxi, Rush Hour. In this game, you start by picking your cab and driver, then it's all about picking up hitchhikers and getting them to their destinations as fast as humanly as possible. And yeah, it's been called a crazy taxi clone, and honestly, that's not too far off. This game doesn't bother with things like traffic lights, stop signs, or law enforcement. Nope, you're free to blaze through the streets, slam into other cars, and dodge obstacles with zero consequences. So, if you're a fan of the old school pedal-to-the-metal arcade style, this game's ready to take you for a spin.
Hello, I am. The place I want to go is, please drive safely and abide by traffic rules.
Taxi Life VR. Alright guys, if you've ever wondered what it's like to be a real-life taxi driver without leaving your couch, Taxi Life VR, or Taxi Driver Life VR on some platforms, is here to put you in the driver's seat, literally. This isn't just your average driving game, it's a full-on simulation that throws you right into the daily grind of a cabbie with all the unexpected twists and turns that come with it. However, this game is very clunky, so don't expect much, but hey, it's only $8, so maybe give it a spin if you're a VR player. Taxi. Now, this is a game that's like a time capsule straight out of the early 2000s, minus the bad haircuts and questionable fashion choices. It's got that nostalgic bargain bin vibe, but hey, that's not necessarily a bad thing. But let's be real, it's a pretty basic game. If you're expecting it to keep you glued to the screen for hours, you might end up a little bored after a while. But calling it bad? Nah, that's a stretch, and after all, it's about $5, so you get what you pay for. Taxi Simulator. This game hasn't been released yet, and honestly, it seems like the devs might have abandoned this title since the first trailer dropped 5 years ago, with no news since then. But seriously, it looks like it could be a lot of fun if they actually made it happen. It's like a mix of GTA and Crazy Taxi rolled into one wild taxi game. So, if you're the dev behind this concept, hear me out. You need to start developing this game because there are so many people out there waiting to see it become a reality.
Take me to Yo, John and Stephanie, level 645.
Mile High Taxi. This game knows exactly what it wants to be. A high-speed nostalgic trip down memory lane with a dash of crazy taxi chaos and a sprinkle of the Fifth Element's futuristic vibes. Simply put, it doesn't try to overcomplicate things, and honestly, that's part of its charm. And you know what? The game's repetitive nature isn't a downside. In fact, it's a strength. It's easy to get lost in the rhythm of picking up passengers, dropping them off, and jamming to some solid tunes. So, if that sounds like your kind of ride, it's definitely worth a spin.
John and Adelaide, level 625.
Taxi Driver, the simulation. This game basically takes the chaotic fun of Crazy Taxi and dials it back a notch. No reckless driving, no wild stunts, just straight-up taxi driving sprinkled with realism. And as you can see, the graphics are a huge step up from the old-school Crazy Taxi days. Sure, it's not the longest game out there, but what it lacks in length, it makes up for in performance. And for all you achievement hunters out there, this game's a goldmine. But to be honest, it's not really the greatest taxi game out there, if you catch my drift. Onefold Taxi Simulator. In the beginning, it's all about picking up passengers and getting them to their destinations. And once you've built up enough cash, you can start hiring other drivers and expanding your fleet, turning your little taxi gig into a full-blown business. More cars, more drivers, more income. Sounds like a solid plan, right? And with an open world to explore, different weather conditions to deal with, and even a time limit mode to keep things challenging, I'd say it's worth the $7. That said, this game is a bit under the radar, so grab it at your own risk. CyberTaxi. If you were a fan of Quarantine back in the 90s, then CyberTaxi is basically a blast from the past with a shiny new coat of paint. It's like someone took that chaotic dystopian taxi mayhem and gave it a cyberpunk makeover. And as you can see, the gameplay is classic Quarantine vibes all the way. You're still picking up passengers, dropping them off, and using the cash to repair and upgrade your ride with some seriously over-the-top weaponry. So if you see this game on sale, it's a no-brainer. Grab it and enjoy the ride.
Crash through the city streets, we'll go fast, buckle up tight.
Taxi Rush. This isn't your run-of-the-mill taxi simulator where you must obey traffic laws. Oh no, this game lets you embrace your inner maniac on the streets of a crazy big city. And as a wild, lawless driver, your job is to get your passengers where they need to be, but with a twist. No traffic rules, no red lights, no police stopping you. Basically, it's Crazy Taxi with crazier stunts. And let's not forget the fun part. This city is packed with all sorts of quirky characters. So definitely grab this one if it's on sale. Taxi Life, a city driving simulator. This driving sim is essentially like the taxi side missions in GTA games, but taken to the next level. In this game, you earn XP by driving, exploring between fares, and engaging in small talk with customers to unlock new skills and abilities. Plus, there are special missions that spice things up, like racing against the clock or providing impeccable chauffeur service to snobby passengers. In short, it's about mastering the art of customer service and running a taxi business in the streets of Barcelona. And let me tell you, this is the current go-to taxi sim game.
Nice day.
Doodle Taxi. Imagine a taxi driving simulator, but instead of high-octane madness, it's all about chilling out. Doodle Taxi offers a zen-like experience as you cruise around a beautifully hand-drawn world. Not only that, you can color in the scenery as you drive, all while unraveling a quirky story that's anything but ordinary. So, whether you're in the mood to drive like a maniac or just want to relax with some killer tunes, this game is perfect for those pick-up-and-play moments. And let's be honest, for less than $2, this one is a steal. Taxi Chaos. This game is essentially a love letter to Crazy Taxi from the late 90s, but with a fresh, modern twist. So if you loved Crazy Taxi, you'll feel right at home here, but with way better graphics. And what really makes this game shine is its replay value. Sure, each round might only last about 3 to 4 minutes, but that's where the addiction kicks in. The more you play, the more you unlock, like new taxi styles, which you can earn by meeting certain goals. However, there's no All I Want by The Offspring, so keep that in mind.
Hey!
Where are the other cars? Whee!
The Last Taxi. This one isn't your typical driving sim, it's more like a deep dive into the human side of taxi driving, set in a futuristic world where you're literally the last human cabbie left. And you know what? In this game, you can't even drive the taxi. Here, it's all about your passengers and their stories. Sure, you'll still handle the usual taxi tasks like using wipers, shields, dodging tolls, and even recording conversations, but the real challenge is paying attention to what your passengers say, as the conversations you have shape the narrative and unlock different endings.
Betray me?
Crazy Taxi 3 High Roller. I get why this game took some heat from critics back in 2002 for not being a huge leap forward. It's easy to see why the recycled maps and lack of innovation rubbed some people the wrong way. But honestly, for fans of the original Crazy Taxi games, High Roller feels like the ultimate edition of that classic arcade experience. Plus, with the recent news about Sega potentially reviving the series, it's an exciting time to be a Crazy Taxi fan, and if they can capture what made the original game so great, we're in for a treat.
Good job.
Okay, here we go.
Crazy Taxi. Sometimes you just need that perfect hit of arcade nostalgia, and Crazy Taxi absolutely delivers. It's one of those games where the fun kicks in the moment you start playing, and the challenge keeps you coming back for more. And yeah, nothing beats the original soundtrack, which is sorely missing in the Steam version. That said, the game itself holds up really well, even without the iconic songs. Now, is it worth $8? That's a tough call. If you're a die-hard fan, it might be. But you know what? This is the taxi game, so spend that money right now.
I guess that's a good thing for us.
Cloudpunk. Now, this one isn't technically a taxi game, but if you're into games where you transport passengers from point A to point B, you might enjoy delivering stuff too. In this game, cruising through the neon-lit streets of the city is surprisingly enjoyable, mostly because the world is so unique and captivating. Sure, there are a lot of fetch quests, but each delivery comes with its own story, and that's where the game really shines. So, if you're in the mood for a chill game where you just drive from point A to point B, give this one a try. Neo Cab. This game puts you in the shoes of Lena, one of the last human taxi drivers in a world run by self-driving cars. In this game, the passengers you pick up each have their own perspectives on this tech-dominated world, some seeking safety, others just wanting someone to talk to, and a few who simply need a ride. But what really stands out is how the game weaves these individual stories into a larger narrative, creating a tech-heavy, capitalist dystopia that feels both futuristic and eerily familiar. So, if you're into visual novels with a futuristic twist, check out this one. Lake. Just like Cloudpunk, this one isn't a proper taxi game, but hear me out. In this game, you drive around a beautiful small town delivering mail and parcels, which gives off a similar vibe to delivering passengers. It's the kind of game that lets you unwind while still offering engaging storylines that are both charming and heartwarming. Plus, the voice acting is solid, bringing the characters to life, and the graphics are beautifully done, making the town of Providence Oaks feel like a place you'd want to visit in real life. So if you need to relax, try this one. Yellow Taxi Goes Vroom. Now, don't get mad, because I said in the beginning that this list is about taxi games, not necessarily driving games, right? Anyway, this game brilliantly combines the exploration and platforming vibes of Mario 64 and Mario Odyssey with the adrenaline-pumping chaotic fun of Crazy Taxi. It's like getting the best of both worlds, jumping, flying, and exploring wacky levels while pulling off insane stunts and speed boosts. So, if you're into Mario games and Crazy Taxi, you might want to check this one out.
I'm extended.
Motortown Behind the Wheel. This one isn't a taxi game per se, but you can drive a taxi and do taxi missions in it. Actually, it's a cartoony vehicle simulation game where you can drive various vehicles in an open-world setting. And don't let the low-poly cartoonish graphics throw you off. Underneath that charming exterior, the driving physics are surprisingly solid. Plus, the game is packed with a variety of structured jobs that offer more depth than just random one-off missions. So if you're into fun driving games, where you take on different driving gigs, definitely check this one out.
Thank you very much.
This country's gotten really fascist since the attacks. Right on, right on. The beast. Hola.
Grand Theft Auto 4 with mods. Now, Rockstar really did GTA 4 dirty by not including the usual taxi driver side missions like in the previous GTA games. I mean, for an open-world GTA game set in a fictional version of New York City, leaving out the taxi side missions just feels like a missed opportunity. But hey, luckily for PC users, there's a taxi mission mod available that brings back that classic experience and enhances the already great open-world game. Throw in some vehicle mods and graphics mods, and you're all set for a truly immersive experience. Grand Theft Auto 3. I know a lot of you didn't play GTA 3 back in its prime, but here's a fun fact. In the original GTA 3, not the definitive edition, there was no map you could pull up when you paused the game. That means no GPS markers to guide you, like in the newer games. So, if you wanted to get anywhere efficiently, you had to memorize the whole map by driving around and learning the streets naturally, just like an actual taxi driver would have to do back in the day. And technically, that makes the taxi missions more immersive. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. Mentioning GTA games in this video wouldn't be complete without giving a shout out to GTA San Andreas, especially since taxis play a big part in the game. I mean, how could it not? The first cutscene has CJ riding in a cab before getting pulled over. And if you complete the taxi missions, all the taxis in the game get NOS and can even jump, which feels like a nod to Crazy Taxi if you ask me. Overall, this might not be a dedicated taxi game, but it's seriously fun to be a taxi driver in this one.
You did it! Some extra for you.
This is a debate program, not an infomercial. Hey, that's a great idea. Listen, friend.
Grand Theft Auto Vice City. Now, with GTA 6 on the horizon, how about we warm up a bit by revisiting GTA Vice City? After all, both games are set in a fictional version of Miami. And I'll be honest, I didn't play Vice City as much as San Andreas, but I still finished it a few times because I love the scenery and that distinct 80s Miami vibe. There's something nostalgic about those bright pink neon lights on beachside hotels and buildings. And you know what? Pretending to be a taxi driver in 80s Miami sounds pretty cool, doesn't it?
The mainland of your own sun. Grow your own damn mosquito-infested swamp, pal. We're gonna build us.
I've got places to goddamn go. You really shouldn't mess with heroes like me.
Grand Theft Auto 5. As the most advanced GTA game right now, GTA 5 is packed with missions and side activities, including the classic taxi missions we all know and love. And while the core gameplay of these missions hasn't changed much, the level of immersion is next level thanks to the game's modern graphics. And if you're on PC, the real fun begins with mods. You can tweak the game to become the ultimate taxi experience by installing realistic graphics mods and enhanced taxi mission mods. Once you do, you'll wish this level of detail carries over to the next GTA as well. So do you agree with our picks? Check out these other videos from us and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.
Good, looks like you're close.
I need a taxi.